Okay, we're up to version 10 of this binary puzzle now, and we're getting into the fun stuff. So the question from 22F talks about coding the row pairs. Now, the initial array, one-dimensional array that is given in the question converts to a two-dimensional array which looks like that. It's the one that we're loading all the time as our standard algorithm. We've got it as our standard load. So if I refresh here, it'll load that same one. 1 blank 0, 1 blank 0. Okay. So in the last version 9, we coded this thing to say it's not solved if there's a blank here. If we go to puzzle 3 or game 3, when there's a 1 there, it is solved. And we've coded the solve repeat so that it only loops once when it is solved. Okay, we are now going to code the row pairs. At the moment, there is no code at all on the row pairs. There is a stub on pairs. So what we're going to do is say, okay, here is the code here. We need to do a dash check and analyze what's going on line by line. If we go down here, we're going to look at the rows first and then look at the columns and go along the columns. So we go along the columns. Is there a column which is empty? So we come along here. Yes, that's empty. And then we're going to look at the next one and the one after that and see if there's a match. No, there's no match. All right, so here's an empty one. We're going to look at the one after and the one after that. Is there a match? Yes, they're both zeros. I'm just trying to make this a bit bigger. Yes, they are both zeros. So in other words, I want to change that to a 1. Okay, so we've done that. So I've color-coded those. There it's orange. And we're going to make that cell equal to a 1. And then we're going to go into our next row, and that's on another line. Let's have a look, see if I've got that on the web page. That's coded down here, I think. Let's just have a look. Oh, yeah. So here's another line. Oh, yeah, we get up to here. And we see that we are in, so that was row 0, so we are in row 1 now. We come along, there's lots of blanks. There's not too, let's go back to game 1. Oh, not that one. Let's refresh. Okay, yes, there's 2 zeros there. So therefore, and there's a blank. So therefore, we want that cell there to change to a 1 and this cell here to change to a 1. And that's what this is going to do. That pink cell there is going to change to a 1 and that blue cell there is going to change to a 1. So now I think I've got a puzzle open here. Let's just see. I've got a version 10 open. So here's the grid loaded. If I click row pairs once, sure enough, we get a 1 there, we get a 1 there, a 1 there. I'm going to refresh and I'm going to do that once more. So we're looking at those 3 cells and there, 1, 2, 3. Now I think it's probably done a couple more as well. Oh yes, look, there's a 1, 1 here, so we get 1, 1 there, and we should get 1 here. Row pairs, yes. All right. So that's the plan for today. Let's go and get stuck into it. Now, let's have a look at our code and let's have a look at our Word document. And so that's a bit of an explanation of what's going to happen. Now, once we insert those numbers, we are going to have to display the grid again. So we're going to have have a function which says display grid, and we're going to display this. I'm going to call it grid 2 dimensions, G2D. So let's put that into our code. we've already got our load grid there and our puzzle solver here. Let's put it in just here. Enter. I've given you the code because it's going to be tricky to test it. Quite often with this JavaScript, I think I've forgotten a closing. I've forgotten a closing bracket there. That looks dodgy. Enter, and a closing curly bracket. Shift. That's better. Now I need to fix up my sheet so that that does not happen. Backspace, delete, and that is all on the same page now. Yep, and backspace, delete. All right, Control S. So yes, where did it go? Is it? Yeah, it's there. Right. All right, that's okay. Enter. All right, it's a bit tricky. I maybe should highlight. Oh, maybe that's okay. All right, Control S. So, all right, we've pasted that in. Let's just go and Control S, Alt Tab. I don't know that I've got a. I'm working on version 9 again. Okay, copy, paste. I need to be working on version 10. By the way, I did copy the whole folder and back up the whole folder. Maybe not, maybe that's overkill. Alright, so version 10, let's look at it online. And so we've created this folder. I'm just going to check F12. I've got a sneaking suspicion there's going to be an error. Run down here. No errors. Okay, that's looking good. We can see what we just put in. We put display grid in there. Okay, let's go back to our Word doc. And the Word doc is saying that, yes, there is the potential for an error because the row and the column are not global. So I won't fix that just yet. I'll wait and see if we get that error a little bit later, and we'll fix it then. You'll notice that these row and column, we had to do it in the last one, need to be put up above all the functions so that they become global. I'll leave that for just a minute. Let's do our next bit now, which is this pseudocode that is the same, this is the pseudocode here, which is in the exam paper, and this is the JavaScript version of that code. Again, I'm going to let you just copy and paste. Copy. Let's come across to Visual Studio, and there is no function for row pairs. So we've got number pairs, but let's put the row pairs in there. Okay, let's delete, Control S, Alt Tab, and F5. Let's see what's going on now. Okay, now if everything's going to work properly, this should work. But it's not. Let's have a look and see what's going on. Okay. Where's my row pairs gone? I'm probably on the old version 9. Let's go back here and open version 10. Okay. So F12, and let's just try it. There's no errors there at the moment, but let's try row pairs. It's not actually doing the row pairs, and yet it's not giving me an error. Alright, so I'll do what I was asked to do at the beginning, which is to shift these two, cut, delete, and put them up here as globals. Control S, Alt Tab, F5, and let's see if this is working now. And it's not. So let's go chasing for a minute. That's because there is no code in there. All right, well, let's just change this and make sure that we are working on version 10 because I'm working on version 9. Okay, refresh. There's version 10 there. Have I put the code in version? Yeah, the code is in version 9. All right, so I will just come back here. I'll keep doing this and make this version 10. And make this version 9 and make this version 10 probably. Okay. Enter. Oops, I haven't done it. Space. Alright, let's go and refresh this now. I should have version 10 here. Let me get rid of all these just to be sure, and make sure that I am on version 10. Right, have I got? I have got Puzzle Sol, I've got RowPairs. Right, Control S. Let's go down here, delete that. That's my good version 10, which works, I'm pretty sure. F5, RowPairs, that's the one that works. Let's check my local, and okay. Does this one work? RowPairs. Yes, it works. It did not put anything down here on the last row. Let's just check that again. 5, RowPairs. Note that there's something wrong and it is not doing the bottom line here. Okay, by the way, let's try it again. RowPairs. Yes, it does it again. So I've got 2 ones. It'll do that 0. All right. It doesn't do this 0 because it's not blank. All right, let's go back here. And let's also look at our Word document, which is saying that there's the code. That's the conversion from pseudo into JavaScript. If we go down further, we see exactly what that's just saying. This is not working, the bottom line. Okay, so we have to change here, and at the moment I think we've got grid size -1. Let's just check. Grid size -1. So let's take that out of there. Control S, Alt Tab, F5. And now let's do the RowPairs, and we are getting the final line. We do it once, we do it again, and we can keep going, and now we're stuck. There are no more RowPairs. So now we're going to have to code to do column pairs. So right now I can see that there should be a 1 going there. So that the code for the column pairs is going to be virtually the same as the row, it's just transposed. And so that is going to be left pretty much to students. Let's go back here and make sure that we change this to version 10. And this is code for RowPairs. Okay. Control S. We're pretty well done. We need to actually check what's in these arrays. Let's have a quick look. I'm checking, so that's the array that's there. Let's do this once more here, F5. Note that when I do the RowPairs, the array here changes, and again the array changes. So this is really a testing field just to show me the array, and this is showing me what is in. Let me go and do the test. Yeah, 1 to 36. Why isn't it doing it? 1 to 36. F5. Let's run 1 to 36. There we go. I don't know why that's not working. 1 to 36, 28. So this is a view of what's in the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 row and 0, 1, 2, 3 column. Let's just have a quick look at the code for that. Right, we have got space here, and I've got a bit of a problem because my load grid. Let me make it full screen, that'll fix it. I can do that. I am displaying the grid can't find it now. Up here. I'm displaying grid 4.3. So that's exactly what I was just looking at there. So that's array view by cell, and yeah, just as a test. So we could change these and it will display a different a different number there. All right, so that's covering all of the code here. I just want to do one more thing and check Dreamweaver. Note that Dreamweaver says it's been modified. See this red line number here? That's telling us there's an error. Now it's saying here the value of the attribute must be in double quotes. See that there is in single quotes. So it's a good example of an error which is brought up in Dreamweaver but does not come up in Visual Studio. And there's lots the other way as well that will come up in Visual Studio but not in Dreamweaver. Now there's the error. That should be double quotes, and that should be double quotes, and Visual Studio didn't pick it up. Control S. All right, so that's it. Let me just make sure that that's still working. F5. RowPairs is still working. Yes, and our initial grid, I don't know why that initial grid doesn't load straight off. Does if I do that, and that's still working. All right, let's finish this now.